What is up? In this video I wanted to talk to you about moisture meters. It doesn't sound like an important tool in the shop, but in my opinion it's just as important as any other tool you have in here. I want to talk about the two main types of moisture meters, which are pinned and pinless, and I wanted to talk to you about their main differences and which ones I prefer and why. Check it out. In preparation for this video, I reached out to my followers on Instagram and I asked them, what questions would you like to know and have answered in this video? And the number one question by far was, how deep into the wood can these meters read? And that's a really good question. The first type of meter that you have are the pinned meters, like I said earlier. Those use two probes that go into the wood, and there is an electrical current that's shot between the two. Wood is not a conductor of electricity. Water is, moisture. When there is more resistance to get the electricity from here to here, i.e. more time that it takes for the electrical current to get from this probe to the other probe, that means there's less water because there's more wood than water, and you can get a reading based on that. That's how the pinned meters work. The thing to consider about that is, though, it's only reading the moisture in that spot. So you're only going to be able to tell what the moisture reading is where your prongs go in, and generally you don't want those going in very deep anyway because they're going to mar the wood. And like I said, they're only going to give you the reading at that spot. The pinless meters, however, use an electromagnetic signal that they send into the wood, and it gets a reading back from the wood, and it can tell the density, and it can read the moisture that way as well. Generally speaking, the pinned meters are significantly cheaper than the pinless meters. The pinless meters have more technology in them, they have more refined sensors, and you know, they cost more. They cost more to make, so they cost more to buy, but they're your best bet. It's just like anything you invest in woodworking, usually, generally speaking, you get what you pay for. The other thing to really consider, like I mentioned earlier, is that the pinless meters don't go into the wood, they don't mar the wood, they don't destroy your wood surface. You don't have to do moisture detection, and then you have to either cover up or eliminate that wood by planing it, joining it, cutting it away to get rid of those deep probe marks. So the pinless meters can save you a lot of work, and they can give you a deeper, more accurate reading. Generally, the pinned meters, they get you the reading right at that spot where the two probes are, which isn't very deep. It needs to go in a very small amount and really can't go in much farther because you'll just be jamming the probes into the wood and destroying the wood. The pinless moisture meters can be set to a depth of 1/4 inch or 3/4 inches. When I'm talking about the pinless meters, I'm specifically discussing the Orion line of pinless meters. So the next question I had was, should you check all sides? I think you should. I think it's good to take multiple readings across the wood, and I think that includes multiple faces. You'll want to get as good of a snapshot of the wood's moisture, no matter what type of meter you're using. Also, you can find out if your wood hasn't dried out evenly or wasn't dried out properly. If you've got 8 or 9% on one end of the board, and on the other end of the board or slab you're looking at 15, something's up. The next question was, is it pretty intuitive to use the settings? For the Orion, it very much is. It does have very clear instructions that it comes with. The menu makes sense, and I'm not a genius, but I was able to work my way around it. But like I said, the instructions are very clear, and it's really well defined what the settings do and when you want to use them. The pinned meter that I have is significantly cheaper device, and it's just fine. It really has only a couple of settings you can cycle through, so it's very easy to figure out because there's not much to it. How do I set up my outdoor rack? This is specifically pertaining to drying lumber. If you're buying slabs that have been recently cut down, they're definitely going to be wet. They're going to be too wet to use, and what you want to do is you want to stack them, and you want to have enough space between them so that air can move through there and help wick away the moisture. You can put what are called stickers between them, and that helps keep them separated. You also want them off the ground. You also want to use something that keeps them off the ground, that doesn't absorb moisture and transfer it into the wood. The next question was, how much does moisture vary from region to region? It varies greatly. There is huge differences in relative humidity and EMC from state to state and town to town even. I mean, that's kind of it for the question segment. I just wanted to go over those questions real quick. Those are some of the ones I got. I got multiples of the same ones, so I wanted to address those ones. Those were really helpful. Thank you to everyone who sent in questions. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer, please put them down below in the comment section. If I don't have the answer, I will consult with Wagner or Google, and I will find out the answer for you. So here's the two devices side by side that I have. This is the General MMD4E. I got this on Amazon. This is the Wagner Orion 950. I got this from Wagner. I've had this for about 6 months and it works fantastic. I've had this for a little over 2 years and it doesn't work quite the same. And really, comparing these two machines, they're not in the same ballpark. This machine was $30. This machine is $540. So you really need to factor that in when you're considering these two machines. First, let's talk about the General. To turn it on, you just hit the power button. It's very simple. There's two options. Wood mode, right there, or there's the building mode. I don't care about the building mode. We're going to keep it in wood mode. So what you have to do is slam it into the wood. 5.1%. So there's one. We've got 5.2%. 5% is what this thing's saying I'm getting. EMC for where I live is 8% right now. There's no chance that this piece of wood is at 5%. Maybe right at the very surface where the pins were going in, it's at 5%. But overall, this piece of wood is not at 5%. It's not 3% below the equilibrium moisture content. Now let's talk about the Orion 950. To power it on, it's the same as the other one. You just press a button. It tells you it's the 950. The first thing you want to check is the EMC. So you'll go cycle through these functions here. EMC. It's a weird looking M, but it is EMC. And it's 7%. So this is a sycamore slab, and the species is a gravity of 0.49. I found that by going to Wagner's website, and you go to the support page, and then it has a database with 7,000 wood species in it. I found sycamore, it's 0.49. So now that I have that, I can do my percentage of moisture content. Lay this on the wood, and we're getting 6.2. But you want the wood to be elevated off of a surface about an inch is what they call for. Those are the two machines. I don't really want to say this is a comparison because they don't really compare. They're just not the same machine. They're supposed to do the same thing, but the cheaper one just doesn't. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If I didn't cover anything that you wanted covered, please let me know in the comments down below. If you have any other questions, let me know down there as well. If you feel that I deserved it, I really appreciate a like or a subscribe. If you could hit that notification bell, that'd be amazing. I couldn't say thank you enough, and I really appreciate you watching.